Warning, this video does contain potential spoilers of inside the different attractions at Galaxy's Edge. If you wanted to be surprised on your visit to Galaxy's Edge, this is not the video to watch. But if you want a complete breakdown and why I personally feel this is just another disappointing Star Wars story, then this video is for you. Enjoy.
Subscribe to Intoxicated 3PO. Is that what they wanted? Yeah? Are we good? Did we do it?
Well, today I'm thrilled to announce the next chapter in the long and exciting history between Disney Parks and Star Wars.
Yes, I remember this announcement from good old Bob, where he talked about that there's going to be two parks. You know, one Galaxy's Edge in Orlando, the other one that's going to be in Anaheim. And yes, just like everybody else in the audience, I clapped and cheered from home. I couldn't wait to see what was about to happen. And when some of the construction photos began to leak, I just started talking. Me and my friends, me and everyone were talking. We're like, man, are we going to go to Tatooine? You know, are they building a small Coruscant there? You know, like, what are we going to get? Like, what about the rides? Are we going to be able to get on a speeder and go through Endor? You know, are we going to pilot a TIE fighter or an X-Wing? Are we going to be able to blow up the Death Star? Are we going to pilot the Millennium Falcon? You know, is that what's going to happen? Are we going to see Luke? Is Luke going to be there? Is Vader going to be there? Of course, I expected the Disney Star Wars characters, Kylo Ren and Rey and all those things. I'm sure they were all going to be there. But I'm like, you've got 9 movies now of amazing places that you could throw into this park for the young, the old, the new, whatever you want. And it's going to be fantastic. Yes, my excitement level was through the roof. And then they began the announcements. So they went with the made-up world of Batuu. Yes, this is a Disney creation. Batuu. You're going to come to Batuu. Not Coruscant. You know, not Tatooine. Not any place. Not even a place from the new Disney film. So I was like, well, maybe in episode 9, you know, that I was really looking forward to seeing. Maybe Batuu will be in there and they'll explain some things. No, maybe in some of the, you know, the newer adventures, the Clone Wars or something. No, nothing. It's going to be a place that we hope you come visit because you've never heard about it, you know, and we're going to do our part in making Batuu famous. And I'll get to that in a moment. The sad reality is that new details came out saying that Kathleen Kennedy trashed the idea of making a Star Wars theme park with elements of all the films, cities and things from all the films. She trashed it. Listen to this recording right here.
Indiana Jones Theater, that was going to be like the heart of the Star Wars land. That was going to go away, and we were going to plug it right in there. The Mos Eisley Cantina was going to be right across from Star Tours. And we had all kinds of great concepts with that. And we had gotten way down the path on art drawings, and we hadn't gone into architectural drawings or anything. And then we got a call one day, and they said, well, we got some news for you all. And the Imagineering guys, they've heard this line many, many times during their career. And I had never been through this. They said, well, yesterday, Bob Iger met with Kathleen Kennedy, who, as a lot of people may know, was sort of George Lucas's protege and headed up Lucasfilms. And they had a conversation, they had a meeting. And Kathleen Kennedy, her point of view was there are way more Disney or Star Wars stories ahead of us than behind us. So we really should think about, or do we want to build a Tatooine and build what all the 50-somethings remember Star Wars is? Or do we want to build something else which is going to appeal to all the upcoming generations who are going to know the new stories? And that day, the Tatooine was killed at the studios, and all those concepts were put on a shelf. And I'm sure they're sitting in a vault, and I'm sure they're going to be shown someday about what that land would have looked like and what the attractions were going to be. And the Imagineering team, we got off the phone, and I said, "Can you guys believe this?" And they said, "This is terrible. We've been working on this." I said, "Well, what's next?" They said, well, we're going to get on a call tomorrow and start over. I said, that's it. They go, look, go out tonight, go have a few beers, cry in your drink, come back tomorrow, and we're starting again. And they had been through this before. They know that until it's signed and until you start breaking ground, none of these projects are guaranteed.
And this was the start of the disappointment in another Star Wars story. Thank you, Anna, that Star Wars girl, for providing the clip. If you don't know, this was former Vice President Dan Cockrell who confirmed that it was Kathleen Kennedy again. Again. That says, no. Only people that are over 50 will want to go to Tatooine. Only people that are over 50 will like anything that the George Lucas movies, the original Star Wars trilogy. Only the over 50 crowds. Well, they started to panic a little bit because they were like, we got to get Batuu on the map here. We got to get it to appeal to people so they would want to come to this park and they'll know this park and they won't be like, it would have been cooler if it was Tatooine. So they're like, throw Han Solo and Chewbacca in Batuu. Let's put a book together. Let's get some comics together where, the over 50 crowd will be like, hey, Han Solo was there. Han Solo had tons of adventures in Batuu. So now will you enjoy it? Now will you not criticize it? Now will it not be disappointing? Because Han Solo was there and Chewbacca's still there. So yeah, there's your original Star Wars things. What do you say? And just in case you need more help, we've also got a traveler's guide to this little section of the theme park. The Star Wars Edge Traveler's Guide to Batuu. It's only $18, and it will tell you everything you need to know, what you can do, and how much fun you can possibly have at this park. So now to enjoy the theme park more, you got to buy a book. And then you could understand it more. Also, you got to buy this book if you want to understand the different characters that you're going to see at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and Batuu. You'll understand who the spies are and who you could talk to, and so buy the book and then go to the theme park and you'll have a much better experience. Because that's what we all like to do before we visit a theme park. We want to read. Maybe some of you do. But yeah. Okay, what are you talking about? You need the books to understand some parts in Galaxy's Edge. I'm walking in. I see what's going on. I understand speeders. I see what's going on here. This looks like Star Wars. This is like stuff I know. But if you go into a specific corner, you see this. This is a crash site that's just randomly placed in the back. You see a spaceship that has crashed. And there's no sign explaining it. There's no nothing. And most people that walk by it are just like, okay, well, I guess something crashed here in Galaxy's Edge. They have no knowledge of what this is. Unless you read the books, then you know that crash site belonged to this character. This is Rex. Rex used to be the pilot over at Star Wars Star Tours. He was the pilot of the ship when you got in, and he took you on an adventure. Now that crash site belonged to Rex. Rex crashed his ship over there at Galaxy's Edge. And the owner of the cantina found Rex and rebuilt him, where Rex is now the DJ in the cantina at Galaxy's Edge. But you would not know this if you didn't read. And one of the most amazing sights, I will say, is when you walk around the corner and you see the Millennium Falcon. It is a beautiful Star Wars sight to see. That is the place where everyone takes their photos. It is absolutely spectacular. Yes, it does have the square radar on the top. It is absolutely spectacular. And yes, now we're going to go into one of the attractions, the Smuggler's Run ride. Now, seeing what they've done with other rides in parts of Disney, surely they could not mess up the Smuggler's Run ride. Could they? Now, when you get to a certain point of the line, you get introduced to Hondo. Hondo is now in possession of the Millennium Falcon. And Chewie does make an appearance here. And you have to remember that Galaxy's Edge takes place between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. So in between, the middle there is when all this stuff is happening. That's why you still see Kylo Ren, you see Rey running from the First Order, and so on. Now, when you pilot the Falcon, your mission is to steal coaxium. Coaxium was introduced to us in Solo, a Star Wars movie. Yes, another Disney product. So you have to pilot the Falcon and steal coaxium. I will say this. They did do an amazing job with the details of the inner workings of the Millennium Falcon. The chess set, the hallways. It makes you feel like you're really there inside the Falcon. And I appreciated that. And I actually enjoyed that. Now, the problem I have with this attraction, with this ride, is if you're not the pilot, you probably won't have a good experience. And which is sad to me that you have to wait such a long time, and it's a gamble. You go up to the cast member before you get into this room, and they give you a card saying, hey, you're a pilot, you're a gunner, you're an engineer, you're this, you're this, you're this. And so it's the luck of the draw. Now, if you're just a gunner, you're sitting in the second seat, and all you do is push a button to shoot. All right. If you're an engineer, you sit in the back seat and all you do is push a button, to fix the Falcon every time it crashes. Now, the two pilot seats get all the action. The Han seat moves the Falcon left and right, I believe. And the Chewbacca seat gets to move it up and down and gets to throw it into light speed right there, which is pretty exciting. So if you get a pilot, there's a lot more you can do, and you basically control the ride. So as the pilots have to work together, it's kind of like a video game, but you control the ride, whether it crashes, whether it doesn't. So you control the ride. So if you're the gunner or the engineer, you literally are at the mercy of whoever the pilots are. So you could get two people that don't know anything about driving or video games or anything like that. And you're going to have a terrible experience, in my opinion. They're just going to constantly keep crashing. They're not going to know what to do. They're not going to follow instructions. So it all depends on where your seating is, on how well you will enjoy this ride. Now, with that being said, that's just one of the attractions. The ride's about 5 minutes long. And then, when it's done, you go down the hallway and you get to see the Falcon. So after this one, after Smuggler's Run, we're going to take you to the next attraction, the main course, as people would say, of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and that would be the Rise of the Resistance. Let's go. Now, Rise of the Resistance is a beautifully put together, I wouldn't even call it a ride, an experience. But it is only with the Disney Star Wars. Unfortunately, it has Rey, Finn, BB-8, Kylo Ren, the First Order, the Resistance, but it is beautifully made. The set designs are beautifully made. And what I love the most is the cast members that play the First Order. You can see here in the video, I think they do a fantastic job of getting you lined up, putting you where you need to go. They act really smug because you're their prisoners. And I think they do a fantastic job. And I love that aspect about this experience of Rise of the Resistance. Yes, this is actually a top three. At Disney. For Disney rides, it's definitely a top 3. I'm sorry, Flight of Passage is probably still my favorite ride at Disney, but this is a top 3. But just wait a second though. Here's the issue. Before you can get to this, you have to go through this.
It's like early, it's raining. We're gonna try to ride this ride. Sunday morning, 5 a.m. at the park.
That's right. To even have a chance of getting on this ride, you had to be at the park before it opened. Then you got your ticket scanned. Then you had to open up your app, your Disney app, and wait for them to open up the virtual queue. Yes, now look at this. This was when Rise of the Resistance opened in California. Now, things have changed since the pandemic, but not much. You still have to be there early. You still got to get your tickets scanned, and you have to be ready to hit join the boarding group when they open the app. So you have to be in the park. You have to have your app open and ready when they finally open up the boarding queue. So once they open up the boarding queue, you hit this button, join the boarding group. Now, if you're not linked with your friends and you guys are trying to get on at the same time, there's a good possibility that you won't get on at the same time because everything gets scattered all over. I tried to ride Rise of the Resistance during this pandemic time when they just opened up. Same thing. I couldn't get in the queue. It was already full before. And I was there when it opened. I just didn't get it. I didn't push the button fast enough to get in there. Now others have gotten in, because they did it right. But here is the biggest problem with Rise of the Resistance. The ride keeps breaking down. These are just some of the tweets that we see every single day about Rise of the Resistance. It keeps breaking down, right? This one here broke down, had to wait 10 minutes before they were guided backstage. Now, an article came out and they said they average that it breaks down 3.6 times a day, 4 to 5 times a day. I don't know what it is. But some people were stuck on the ride for hours. Some people were stuck in line for a good amount of time. As you could read in some of these tweets, yeah, the Rise of Resistance is cool, but for crying out loud, fix the ride so it doesn't keep breaking down every 10 minutes. Waited an hour to get on the ride and it broke in the middle of it again. Yes, I can't imagine dealing with all that, traveling, maybe not this year, but traveling to do this ride and it just breaks down and you're waiting hours and hours to finally get on it. That's something they need to address. But if you can get through all that, if you manage to get on the queue, if you manage to get there on time, if you manage to get in a group party, if you manage to get through it without it breaking down and you get on this experience, this is what you will find. You are part of the resistance. You get taken away on a shuttle. Now, there are multiple factors in this attraction. Like half of it's not even a ride. A lot of it's a walkthrough through different sets. So you're in a shuttlecraft. The shuttlecraft gets taken over by the First Order. You get put in a tractor beam onto their, Star Destroyer or their Star Cruiser. Then you come out to this scene here. But one of the greatest things that I enjoy about Rise of the Resistance is not, the ride itself, but it's the cast members. It's the cast members, that play a role. They just make the ride so enjoyable. And I've said this a few times again. Finn begins to break you out. And you begin to go through a rescue, and then you eventually get on a trackless ride through their ship, where Kylo Ren begins to chase you, and Finn begins to guide you, and you get rescued. It is an experience, whether you like the Disney Star Wars universe or not. Everybody knows where I stand. I do not like the Disney Star Wars movies at all, but the ride is definitely an event to experience. They've added a lot of things that you won't see in other rides in the Rise of the Resistance. So if you're able to do all that, congratulations. Now, is there other things you could do within the park that don't include these two ride attractions? Yes. Let's talk about the characters in the park. Now, throughout Galaxy's Edge, you might bump into Rey. You might bump into a few others, Chewbacca, Kylo Ren, First Order troopers, and the spy, which we'll get into just a little bit later. But Rey is definitely the star attraction of Galaxy's Edge. You will not find Vader. You will not find C-3PO. You will not find Luke Skywalker. You will not find anybody. Remember, this takes place between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. Now, these pictures of Rey with children are everything right with Disney. Everything right with Disney. But the issue is that Rey doesn't really pose for pictures. You can't line up and have a picture with Rey. You can't really line up and have a picture with Kylo Ren or stormtrooper. They wander throughout the park. Now, Rey is constantly running from the First Order. So if you or your child is lucky enough to have an encounter with Rey, such as these children in these pictures, and I'm sure there's other pictures and videos out there, consider yourself very lucky. Because as many times as I've been to Galaxy's Edge, I've only bumped into Rey twice. And the second time, she was on the run from the First Order, and she did stop to take a picture with two children. But then you'll see what happens next. Yes, I recorded this. She takes a picture with the two girls smiling, and then she immediately runs off. Now, let me just say this. It looks like she pushed the girl away to get away. She did not. She didn't do that. I'm not here to criticize this cast member. I'm not here to say anything negative that she did anything wrong, because this is very typical of Rey at Galaxy's Edge. She does stop for a quick picture, but she's always on the run. She is always on the run from the First Order. You can see here, I've recorded some video of her just hiding. I'm trying to get her attention, trying to get a photo, and she's annoyed that I am, telling others about her position, because he's always on the run with the First Order. Now, in other areas of Disney parks, if you want to get that photo with your hero, they have special sections where you can go and line up and get your picture with whoever you want to get a picture with from the Disney universe. From the Disney universe. It's not like that with Rey. If you're able enough to find her and stop her and get a picture, consider yourself lucky, because most people cannot get a photo with Rey. This is another issue I have with Galaxy's Edge, because there are people out here that want to get photos with Rey, and it just doesn't sell your character very well when she's constantly on the run. Now, this is Vi Marati. She is the spy at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge in Batuu. You probably have never seen it before, because she was never in any movies or cartoons or anything except Galaxy's Edge. Now, how do I know this? And how will you know this? The only way you will know this is if you read the book. Now, something interesting, when you go to Galaxy's Edge and you locate the spy, you can ask her to put you on a secret mission for the First Order. Now, I've located her several times because I know who this character was, and the mission that she put me on was to go find Chewbacca and say something about the bright sun. It's been the exact same mission with every cast member that I've come in contact with. Now, if you got a different mission, please let me know in the comment section below. I would love to know this. But many people don't know this. Many people don't know this character because, again, the only way you'll know this character is if you read the book. This is some of the experiences that people will be missing out on because they're creating something that we don't know. They're creating characters and places that most people don't know because it's not associated with the movies. So let's say you rode the rides, you met the characters, and now you just want to get a drink and cool off because Florida's hot. So let's visit the Cantina. Well, that's probably not going to happen because most of it is standing room only, and they're going to put you with a bunch of people that you don't know, and it is up close and personal. Now, with the pandemic going on, I'm sure the rules have changed. I haven't visited the Cantina during that time. But once this whole thing is lifted, I'm sure they're going to go back to their regular rules, which is you are on a time limit. When you get in there, the clock is ticking, and you can only order 2 drinks. After that, you cannot order any more drinks, mostly because there's alcohol involved in a lot of the drinks, the specialty drinks, and they are quite expensive, especially if you want that blue milk with vodka. I believe they put that in. I don't recommend that on a hot Florida day. But if the Cantina isn't your thing because you got a bunch of kids, you can always take them down to the Droid Depot. This video is courtesy of Attractions Magazine. This shows the Droid Depot. You could build a BB-8 droid or an R2 unit, as you could see behind them on the conveyor belt. So basically, you go in, you make your appointment, you go in, you figure out what kind of droid you want to build. There's a little mat there with the pieces that you should collect. And so you just grab the pieces that you want, the colors that you want, whether you want a BB-8 or an R2 unit, and you put it together in the tray. And a cast member helps you put together your very own droid. And they have a little play area where you can go test it out. I mean, that's a lot of people have said they really enjoy this. So there you go. And lastly, for a little over $200, you can have the experience of crafting and constructing your very own lightsaber. You get to sit through a presentation in Savi's workshop. But don't forget, you have to make an appointment for this. I'm not really sure how this works during this pandemic time, but you have to make an appointment. Some people had to make an appointment a month in advance just to get this experience. But people have been very pleased with the experience. One of the issues is, now there's an issue that if your lightsaber breaks, once you step out of Galaxy's Edge, there is no refunds. Unless they change the policy. Many people you can find online have complained about this, that, hey, if you step out of Galaxy's Edge, and listen, I get it. They don't know what you've done with it. They don't know if you're taking care of it. But if you step out of Galaxy's Edge and, you go somewhere and the lightsaber breaks, you can't go back into Galaxy's Edge and get it replaced. That's just the policy that it is. So there you have it. There you have Galaxy's Edge. Now, why is this disappointing for me? Is because this could have been so much more. Having something from 3 different trilogies would have made this park truly amazing. Something from the original series, something from the prequels, something from the Disney era. Yes, you could have had them all in one park, but what they tried to do was have you emerge into its own city and have you be a part of your own Star Wars story. And for me, that's extremely disappointing because I wanted to go to Coruscant. I would love to go to Jabba's palace, and I don't mind some of the stuff from the Disney Star Wars if they included it, and then people could have just picked their own place where they could have gone. And the one thing that they were missing more than anything else was the Star Wars music. If they would have just pumped the Star Wars music in Galaxy's Edge, it might have made it a little bit better for me. But, oh, wait a minute. Wait, they did have Galaxy's Edge music. They did have Galaxy's Edge music. And it actually won an award. But you want to know what the problem is and why this is just another disappointment that they could easily fix is that they don't play it within the park. That's right. They don't play the Galaxy's Edge John Williams music in the park. No, I'm not kidding. Look at the comment from this article. Yes, it would be great if the Symphony Suite could actually be heard within Galaxy's Edge. It won an award, and they don't even play it in the park. They don't even play it in the park. Well, I hope you enjoyed this journey with me through Galaxy's Edge. Some of you might just love this place, and I'm happy for you. For me, it's just disappointing because they could have done so much more. Imagine riding a speeder bike, having a ride where you're riding a speeder bike or piloting an X-Wing or blowing up the Death Star, And they could have had Rise of the Resistance, and they could have kept Smuggler's Run. They could have added these features, and who knows, maybe they'll do that in the future. I'm not sure. But it just seems like they created an experience where people were like, I don't know what the experience is. And to me, that's just disappointing. Now, you might be like, well, then why do you keep going back? Don't forget, I manage a theme park channel called Park Hoppin', so I'm constantly at theme parks. But I wanted to put this video essay together, just to kind of give you a glimpse and walk you through what Galaxy's Edge is and where they kind of dropped the ball. I really hope they get these things together because I love Star Wars. I love everything about Star Wars. And there was just so much they could have added, so much they could have done to make this a total and complete Star Wars experience. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Man, please don't write, oh, I'm just another hater. Didn't say I hated it. I just said I was disappointed. Didn't say I hated it. Just said I was disappointed. Anyway, that's the video, guys. Thanks for checking it out. If you made it all the way through this 30-minute video essay, congratulations. Pat yourself on the back. And let me know your thoughts about Galaxy's Edge. Who knows what the future holds? One can only hope.